This is my favorite view. Now we're up on the North Shore, the more green side of the island, more lush, more what I think of as a tropical island kind of anyway. It's a lot more weather, but that's what makes it pretty, I think, and it's definitely worth it.
Rhythm 52.
But this is the section of the island you can't drive to right now. So this town coming up in front of us is Haena, so that, and then the valley that turns up to the right from there, Wainiha Valley. Those two areas have very limited access at the moment, ever since that April flood. In fact, right after the April flood, for probably 3 weeks or so, the only way in and out of these towns was by boat or helicopter. So they did get the road repaired enough to where they'll let a line of traffic go through. Like 3 or 4 times a day they do that. But they do it as sparingly as they can, so it doesn't slow down their reconstruction, and limited to just the residents. And I would say it does mess up their day, you know, having to plan their whole day around like when they can come in and out of the town. But if you went out and like had them all vote right now on whether they'd prefer it stayed this way, I bet they would all prefer it stay this way. They get this whole pretty part of the island like just to themselves, and that's pretty great.
When do they project the road to be ready?
By October. See how that turned out. Yeah. They came out in the paper a few weeks ago actually and said we were just kidding. What we meant was next year or maybe much longer. So they gave themselves a lot more breathing room. Although I think it was yesterday they were talking about this one section of it right here where you can see all the concrete work. That one is one of the bigger sections of the road was falling apart, and they said they finished the concrete work in it, so it should be just about done in that section, but I think there's a few other areas they need to tidy up. So it could be a while. Honolulu Bay you can get to. There's a bay on the right of us, left of us, way on the right. That's the one. That is my favorite beach on the island. It's got a lot going for it. You can definitely find like more exotic hidden beaches around the island, but that one just has so many different cool things. Like the size of it is huge. Easier access than a lot of places. You know, it's easier to find parking. Good surf in the wintertime. Close by town, so good place to eat. 2 lifeguard stations, which is always very important. Terrible snorkeling. So if you do go out there looking to snorkel, don't expect anything great. It's mostly sand bottom, and the coral reef that is in there is not very alive reef at all. But it's still a great spot. And right now with that road closure, this is the new end of the road basically, so there is going to be more people in Honolulu Bay area. So the parking lots will fill up a little bit quicker. But there's so much room on the beach that like, it never ever feels crowded. It's a good one to go out and check out. In the back of Honolulu, all these green fields here, they're growing taro. Taro is what you make poi with, that purple tasty food. If you went to a luau, you might have tried. And so, if you haven't yet, I would definitely recommend you give that a try. But not because you're going to like it. You're not going to like it. Pretty bad. But it's just very culturally significant. So like anywhere else, you know, you go somewhere new, you gotta try whatever it is. You know, like if you go to New York, you gotta have one of those street vendor hot dogs and maybe an In-N-Out burger in California, Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia, you know, stuff like that. It's just one of those things.
Sisters walking hand in hand. Have you seen the ocean? Miles and miles of crystal deep blue seas. Can you smell the flowers? Fill the air with fragrances for free.
This little waterfall right here is about 2,400 feet tall. Pretty amazing slip and slide. Whee!
This land of
might get a bump of wind as we go around the corner here.
Mountain craters throwing lava in the air. For its green swept beauty. From each island blossoms everywhere.
We'll follow the road up here toward the center of the island. Honolulu Valley still, this one. So it empties out into the bay. Plenty of room here to catch all the rain that's fallen into it. Stays really hidden. There's no hike into the bottom of the valley. I actually had no idea what was here when I was growing up. I grew up in that town, so it was really interesting to fly through the first time.
This land of
used the area in the back